Hari Om. We meet for the next story in our Dashavatara story series. And so far, what are the avatars that we have seen of Lord Vishnu? We saw Bhagwan come first as a fish, Matsyavatara. Then we saw Kurma Avatara, where Bhagwan came as a tortoise. And then we also saw Varaha Avatara, where Bhagwan came as a boar. And then we also saw Narasimha Avatara, where Bhagwan came as half man, half lion. And now what form is he going to come in? Let us see. So shall we chant the Dashavatara Stotram as always? Alright. नामस्मरणादन्योपायं नहि पश्यामो भवतरणे राम हरे कृष्ण हरे तव नाम वदामि सदा नृहरे वेदोद्धार विचारमते सोमकदानव संहरणे मीनाकार शरीर नमो हरिभक्तं ते परिपालय मां मन्थानाचलधारण हेतो देवासुर परिपालन भोः कूर्माकार शरीर नमो हरिभक्तं ते परिपालय मां भूचोरकहर पुण्यदमूर्ते क्रोधोद्धृत भूतेश हरे क्रोधाकार शरीर नमो हरिभक्तं ते परिपालय मां हेमकशिपुतनुधारण हेतो प्रह्लादासुरपालन भोः नरसिंहाच्युतरूप नमो हरिभक्तं ते परिपालय माम् बलिमदभञ्जन विततमते बलिमदभञ्जन विततमते पादद्वयकृतलोककृते पादद्वयकृतलोककृते पटुवटुवेश मनोज्ञ नमो पटुवटुवेश मनोज्ञ नमो हरिभक्तं ते परिपालय मां हरिभक्तं ते परिपालय मां. So what is the avatara today? In what form will Bhagwan come? He has come as a fish, he has come as a tortoise, he has come as a boar, he also came as a hybrid, half animal, half man, isn't it? Narasimha Avatara was half lion, half man. And now the transition to full human being. But not as a grown-up human being. As a Vatu, as a young boy. And a young Brahmin boy is called a Vatu. And this Avatara, Bhagwan, is called Vamana. And for a particular reason, he was very handsome. And Vamana means the beautiful one or the handsome one. Let us see the story of Bhagwan's Avatara as this little boy, Vamana. Alright. So, it was one of those times where it happened many times that the Asuras became more powerful and they threw away the Devas from the heavens and occupied that place. And this time the Asura was none other than Raja Bali. Now Raja Bali was a slightly different type of Asura. He was actually a good Asura. And you know the power of his strength? While all the other Asuras that we have heard of were, it was physical strength. But here, Raja Bali was a Guru Bhakta. He had immense devotion and respect for his Guru and Guru's words. And that was the strength on which he was able to become powerful and conquer. He actually conquered all the three worlds. That is the heavens, the earth and Patala. And when he conquered all the three worlds, he decided that to celebrate, he is going to do 100 Ashwamedha Yagas. And now on the other side, the Devas had been sent away from their own place, isn't it? And the Devas' mother, who is she? Any idea? Mother Aditi. The Devas were the children of sage Kashyapa and Mother Aditi. Now Mother Aditi was feeling very bad for her children because they had lost their splendor, they had lost their glory, because they were just out of their place, isn't it? And mother was feeling a little sad about it, and she mentioned this to her husband Sage Kashyapa. Now Sage Kashyapa said, there is only one person who can help you out, and that is Bhagwan Vishnu himself. I will teach you a vrata on how to meditate and invoke Bhagwan Vishnu, and he will definitely help fulfill what is in your heart. So Mother Aditi was all set. As Sage Kashyapa had taught her, she did her worship, she did her vrata, she did her meditation and prayers, and Bhagwan was indeed pleased by Mother Aditi, and he appeared before her and said, Mother, I know what is going on in your heart, I know that desire in your mind, but at this point of time the Asuras are riding on a power which I can do nothing about, because it is about Guru Bhakti, and it will be highly unfair on my part if I took the side of the Devas now, because the Asuras are not doing anything so harmful, and I have to be fair to both the Devas and the Asuras. Mother Aditi for a moment was disappointed, but then it's Bhagwan, isn't it? And Bhagwan has various reasons why he does what he does. And Bhagwan said, but Mother Aditi, you have done your tapas, and the fruit of your tapas also I have to give. If I don't give, then it will be wrong on my part, and it is not at all possible. Whoever does their vrata, accordingly they get their reward. So I have to fulfill your tapas phala also, and I must be fair on the other side also. So Bhagwan said, I have an idea. Mother, I will be born as your child, and if I am born as your child, that means I will be Indra's younger brother, and that is, I will be Upendra, Indra's younger brother, and so I can always help my brothers regain their kingdom. It is only fair, isn't it? And Mother Aditi forgot all about Indra, heavens and the glory and all of that. She was so overcome with joy, with that, tears were flowing down her eyes. She said, Bhagwan, you are going to be born as my child. What more can I ask for, Bhagwan? And she just became silent because she didn't know what to say. She was so overwhelmed, and Bhagwan disappeared. And then after a few days, yes, it was the Dwadashi day, or the 12th day of the month, and Bhagwan appeared in all his splendor. 4 arms, Chaturbhuja, isn't it? Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma, everything in full glory he appeared before Mother Aditi. He was born from her womb, and he took form like that. And as she was watching, Bhagwan became a small boy, a little boy of about maybe 5-6 years. And hurray, he was so handsome. The sages and the saints and everybody came there to see this Tejasvi, this splendorous young boy. And the Devatas arrived, the gods arrived, everybody was there to bless this child. After all, did they need to bless? But no, but Bhagwan has come in an avatara, and as per the avatara, everything has to be done accordingly, right? So many people gave him so many things. Okay, so it so happened that Mother Aditi, as soon as Bhagwan became a little boy, first thing she did was wrapped him with a cloth, like a panche, a kutti panche. Oh, how much do you need for a 5 or 6 year old? So with lot of joy and affection, she dressed him. And then all the sages came, and they decided that he should be initiated. That is, the sacred thread ceremony has to be done. Upanayanam has to be done. So they did all the ceremonies that is done for a child, that is from birth to Upanayanam, everything was completed. And at that time, Lord Surya Bhagwan came and gave him the Gayatri mantra. So it is during the Upanayanam that you are initiated into the Gayatri Japa, right? So he was given the Gayatri mantra also. And then his father sage Kashyapa gave him the sacred thread that they wear. Then Lord Brahma gave him the Kamandalu. And who else? The Dig Devatas came. They gave him an umbrella. If you have seen the Vamana Avatara, he is always with an umbrella. Then Mother Saraswati came. Mother Saraswati came and gave him a Japamala to do Japa. Okay, that she put around his neck. Then who else came? The Brihaspati, the Guru of the Devas. He came and gave him all the knowledge that's required. All the Vedic knowledge was given to this Vamana. Now, the first thing that a Vatu does after Upanayanam is Bhavati Bhikshan Dehi. So then the Yakshas gave him a Bhikshu bowl. The bowl in which he would go begging for his food. And who gave him his first meal? Mata Annapurneshwari, Mother Parvati gave him his first meal. And he also, the Brahmins usually have a staff, a wooden staff. And Chandra Devata, Lord Moon, is also known to be the god of trees. And he gave him a staff. Now, Vamana was all set. And he left in full glory. He was glowing. He was radiating energy and he was radiating light, splendorous light, effulgence. And he went straight towards the banks of river Narmada. Why? Because that is where Raja Bali was performing his 100th Ashwamedha Yaga. And the Yaga was coming to an end. He was giving away gifts to all the Brahmanas there. And when Vamana walked in, all of them looked, because there was a bright light along with him as he was walking. That tejas, that effulgence, nobody could miss. And they looked at him and they wondered, who could this be? Shukracharya? Who is Shukracharya? Shukracharya is the guru of the Asuras. Shukracharya also saw and wondered, who could this boy be? Why is a Brahman boy coming here? And Raja Bali turned his head and he thought, who is this? I just can't take my eyes off this young boy. And his eyes just followed Vamana as he walked in. And when Vamana came and stood in front of Raja Bali, without even thinking, Raja Bali took a bowl, a pot of water and did Pada Puja. He washed Vamana's feet and he did puja to it, and without even realizing, he took that water and sprinkled it on his head as though he had done a great puja. This he had not done for anybody else. And Raja Bali was surprised at his own behavior. All this happens, when Bhagwan enters somebody's heart. All these crazy things happen. Beautiful things happen. And that's what was happening to Raja Bali. He was so mesmerized. He said, "Oh young Brahmin boy, I am so happy that you have attended my yajna. I feel like my yajna is already fulfilled by your presence. This is a moment when I am giving away riches to all the Brahmins. Ask me what you want. Do you want cows? Do you want land? Do you want ashrams? Do you want acres and acres of fruit groves? What do you want? You want wealth? You want gold? Ask me what you want and I will give it to you." Vamana waited, and Vamana also told him, "O Raja Bali, you come from such a clan of Asuras, Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu. Nobody had any dearth for giving. They were ready to give, yes. And I know that in your kingdom, nobody is denied anything. And I know your large-heartedness. I also know that once you decide to give, you are very generous in giving. I have no doubts about this." So then Raja Bali said, "So ask away, Brahmin boy, ask what you want." And Vamana said, "O king, I don't have any doubts about your capacity to give, but I don't need any of those things. And one must never ask for more than what one needs. All I need is 3 steps of land. Raja Bali looked at him and said, this one is not just a child. He's not just childlike, he is childish too. 3 steps of land? He says, maybe he didn't understand what I meant by how much I can give. So again he told, oh Brahman boy, I don't think you understood what I meant. You can ask for much greater things. I can give you a lot more. 3 steps of land is fine, as a child maybe, but ask for what I am capable of giving you. Ask for the riches, ask for the cows. You will never have any worries of your entire lifetime regarding food, clothing and shelter. I promise I will take care of everything for you. But Vamana was adamant and he said, O king, one must never ask more than what one needs, and as of now my mind says 3 steps of land is all I need. And I believe that you keep up your word and you will give me this 3 steps of land. Raja Bali said, all right, if that is what you want, that's fine. So he took the plate and the kalasha of water with which he was going to give arghya, which was solemnizing the promise, making a promise that yes, I will give you what you have asked me for. Just as he was about to pour, his guru called him. Shukracharya said, Raja Bali, what are you doing? Come here. Raja Bali was surprised. At this time my guru is calling, when I am all set to offer in charity to a Brahmana boy and such a Tejasvi. What might my guru want? But then guru is guru, so he left that bowl there and turned around. And Shukracharya, he whispered in Raja Bali's ears and said, what are you doing? Don't give this promise. This Brahman boy is not an ordinary Brahman boy. You know, this is Lord Vishnu himself and he has come to cheat you. He will take away everything you have. I'm warning you, don't do this. Raja Bali looked at his guru and said, O Guru, I have never stepped across your words, but at this point of time for me, this is dharma. I have already promised to give what the Brahmin boy asks. And after all, if it's just 3 steps of land to a Brahmin boy, what is there to lose? That's what he wants and that's what I will give. Now as you say, if it is Lord Vishnu himself, what more could I have asked for, Gurudev? Because Bhagwan has come to ask from me. And why should I hesitate in giving anything to Bhagwan? And Shukracharya felt very insulted that Raja Bali was not following the instructions given by him. And he walked away angrily with a huff and puff. And Raja Bali continued to offer. As he had just finished putting that water as a promise, something magical happened. Yes, this was no ordinary boy, for this Brahmin boy just grew and grew and grew and grew. Raja Bali's neck went up and up. Everybody is watching what is happening. And they just can't see where Bhagwan's head went, where this boy's head went. And they're wondering, the leg is going below. And one leg was kept on the heavens. And it is said that in heavens, Lord Brahma himself did Pada Puja to Bhagwan's foot. And the water that flew down from Bhagwan's foot after puja is what we see as Mother Ganga flowing down from the Himalayas. Alright, so that was one leg in the heavens, and then one leg went to the Netherlands. Netherlands meaning Patala, and 2 steps done. Now Bhagwan said, Raja Bali, you promised me 3 steps. I have already taken 2. And with these 2 steps, I believe I have covered everything that you possess. Now you tell me, where am I to keep the 3rd step? And Raja Bali said, Bhagwan, I know you are not an ordinary Brahman boy. You are, of course, Bhagwan himself, Lord Vishnu, who has come to this devotee's house. Well, I am not afraid of defeat. I am not afraid of losing my glory. I am not even afraid of death. I am not afraid of anything, Lord, but I cannot accept that I could not keep up my word. And so, Lord, the only other thing that I could say I possess is myself. And I offer myself. Please put your foot on my head. That is the third step I can offer you. And as soon as he said that, so many things happened. Prahaladji arrived. You know, Prahaladji was Bali's grandfather. And Prahaladji came there. And Raja Bali was bound by a Varuna Pasha. Bhagwan had bound him. Varuna Pasha means you are frozen. You can't move. And when Prahaladji came, Raja Bali was a little upset because of this Varuna Pasha. He could not even do namaskarams to his grandfather. He could not offer anything to him. And he felt a little bad about it. But he was helpless. And Bhagwan was happy to see Prahaladji there. And Prahalada prayed to Bhagwan and said, "O Lord, my family is so blessed. But while my Lord, I don't think Raja Bali deserves such a severe punishment. Please release him, Bhagwan." Bhagwan looked at him and said, "Prahalada, since when did you become a lawyer for Raja Bali? Raja Bali himself is not saying anything. Why are you interfering? And after all, don't you know? I take away those things, whatever it may be, that stands between my devotee and me. So you don't be afraid of anything. Everything will be fine." And Bhagwan said, Look, Prahalada, look who has bound whom. Have I tied him up or has he tied me up? He has tied me up by sticking to the truth. His adherence to truth has completely bound me. And with this, he can only be blessed. And he put his leg on Raja Bali's head and said, "O Raja Bali, I will now send you to Sutala, that is the lowest of the Patalas. There are 7 lokas below. You will go to Sutala and there you will experience great happiness. And you will be the ruler there. You will be the king. And one more thing I promise you. I will be there at the gates of your kingdom as your security guard. I will be there in my full glory with Shankha, Chakra, Gada and Padma. And I am ever available to you." And he also told Prahalada also come and stay in Sutala with Raja Bali and keep giving him constant satsangas. And Raja Bali will be more than blessed there. Now who had bound whom? Had Raja Bali bound Bhagwan or Bhagwan bound Raja Bali? If Bhagwan had promised to become the security guard for Raja Bali, it appears like Bhagwan himself got bound, isn't it? But very willfully and happily, because that's what adherence to truth, surrender, faith in Bhagwan, all of this brings to us. And both Prahaladji and Raja Bali bowed down and said, "We could not have asked for anything more, Lord. Thank you so much for blessing us with all this." And Bhagwan just pushed him down, and it is said that occasionally Raja Bali comes up to make sure that all his prajas are fine. And one of the times that when we also celebrate this is during, does anybody remember? A famous festival. Bali Padyami, the 3rd day of Deepavali. Alright, so this was the story of Bhagwan coming as the little boy, little handsome boy, Vamana. And here it was actually he came to bless his devotee. Yes, Indra had to come back, but more than that was to bless his devotee. And here his devotee, just like Prahalada, here also his devotee was Raja Bali. Not that Raja Bali worshipped him as Narayana or Mahavishnu or anything, but the very fact that he had Guru Bhakti and how he was so committed to truth, so committed to keeping up his promise. and that won Bhagwan's heart. And in the Vamana Avatara, Mother Aditi and Raja Bali both were so blessed by Bhagwan, and the Devatas got back their heavens where they rightfully belong. So this is the story of Bhagwan's Vamana Avatara. Alright, we'll end this session with the chanting of the Dashavatara Stotra. नामस्मरणादन्योपायं नहि पश्यामो भवतरणे राम हरे कृष्ण हरे तव नाम वदामि सदा नृहरे वेदोद्धार विचारमते सोमकदानव संहरणे मीनाकार शरीर नमो हरिभक्तं ते परिपालय मां मन्थानाचलधारण हेतु देवासुर परिपालन भोः कूर्माकार शरीर नमो हरिभक्तं ते परिपालय मां भूचोरकहर पुण्यदमूर्ते क्रोधोद्धृत भूतेश हरे क्रोधाकार शरीर नमो हरिभक्तं ते परिपालय मां हेमकशिपुतनुधारण हेतु प्रह्लादासुरपालन भोः नरसिंहाच्युत रूप नमो हरिभक्तं ते परिपालय मां बलिमदभञ्जन विततमते बलिमदभञ्जन विततमते पादद्वयकृतलोककृते पादद्वयकृतलोककृते पटुवटुवेश मनोज्ञ नमो पटुवटुवेश मनोज्ञ नमो हरिभक्तं ते परिपालय मां हरिभक्तं ते परिपालय मां. Till we meet for the next Avatara. Hari Om.